How do we free ourselves from the control? How do we free ourselves from the fear?
Look at your story. I mean, look at your life story. If you can control everything in your life, everything will be perfect, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. You still had to experience some type of heartache, some type of loss. Can't control it.
That's facts.
And so that's the number one way. It's like how to deal with it is say like, I can't control everything anyway. Life will happen.
How is flow helping us with our daily decisions?
I think flow helps us to live our heart's desires. One life to live. Mm-hmm. You don't know when that last day is. So if you're living in a mindset of flow, opportunity presents itself, you go for it. But the best part is that as you pursue the greatest version of yourself, the highest aim, something will present itself right along the way. And those are called stars. These are the things that you didn't expect to see along your journey.
It's a journey worth traveling, your space for raw conversations and soulful insights around life's journey. Let's explore. Welcome back to the podcast, crew. I hope that you are ready for part 2. Part 1, oh man, did we not learn some language and flow? I know I did. And now I hope that you are ready for part 2, where we talk about relationships, how authenticity is showing up in our flow, and so much more. Yes, it gets deep. So I'm not going to delay it. Let's jump back into these waters and continue to surf the waves of flow. So for me, I can speak to one of the reasons why flow probably is not the easiest is from a control standpoint on my end. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't want to say I can see that. But.
So how do we free ourselves from the control? How do we free ourselves from the fear? How do we free ourselves from the unknown or accepting the unknown so that we can flow better?
Look at your story. I mean, look at your life story. Have you truly controlled your life? If you can control everything in your life, everything will be perfect, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. You still had to experience some type of heartache, some type of loss. You can't control it.
That's facts.
And so that's the number one way. It's like how to deal with it is say like, I can't control everything anyway. Life will happen. Mm-hmm. Right? It's going to happen. And so I think, and then also acknowledging the fact that you're trying to be in control. Mm-hmm. I think that's part of the whole recognize, accept, identify too. It's like, okay. You trying to control some shit again. Just let it go and let it be. Just let it go and let it be. And I think that's the number one thing right there is like being able to recognize it and not judging yourself, just simply saying, I'm doing it again.
Yeah. I feel like flow is figuring out too, like what it is that you need in this season. You know, like, do I need to surrender? Mm-hmm. Or do I need to be a little bit more intentional about things? Because you got people who just, they be flowing in a way that doesn't necessarily honor themselves because there's not a lot of intentionality.
Yeah.
Do I need to surrender? Do I need to push myself? Do I need to rest? Yeah. Like flow, I think very much so figuring out what does Jamel need? What does Kat need in this moment?
Yeah, I think, because flow doesn't lack commitment either. So I think besides flow, you still want to have a target that you're aiming at so that you're not just aimlessly moving throughout life. So it's like, what are you going towards? What's your highest aim in life? And so once you set those, like you say in the season, I do mine's pretty regularly, but it's usually like towards the end of the year, I'll set a few, but then I'll add more along the way. And so I have this something that I'm waking up every day for. So it's like, okay, I'm going towards this physically. I'm going towards this mentally, spiritually, financially. I'm got all these different aiming points that I'm shooting towards. And then also I'm going to be able to identify the flowers along the way that keeps you motivated. Positive up spiral is what they call. So just acknowledging the good things that you've done along this pursuit. Then those weeds, being able to identify them and say, "Whoop, not me." Keep pulling them out as you keep going. But the best part is that as you pursue the greatest version of yourself, the highest aim, something will present itself right along the way. and those are called stars. These are the things that you didn't expect to see along your journey. So these are, that's it. that's usually the best part. Your purpose kind of presents itself in amidst those stars too.
Yeah. No, I really love that. Perfect segue into, okay, so you have been wanting to do a retreat for what? 5 years? 10 years? How long?
I got about 6 years. It's about 6 years.
Okay, so you've been wanting to do a retreat for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then the year comes, you find the perfect place. You pour all this time into like getting the itinerary together, getting the people there. And then the event comes and you have like this loaded itinerary, but you're not able to necessarily get to everything. And so what you thought was going to happen was completely, or at least to a certain extent, different than what actually happened. And moments like that, I probably would freak out.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
So, but I didn't see you sweat.
Yeah, I was sweating though.
Oh,
yeah, I was sweating.
You was okay. I'm just saying you held it down well.
Yeah. That was so the retreat was something that I've always had on my heart, but I never saw the space to like just do it. I was presented a bunch of different opportunities to like do stuff like in Costa Rica and stuff like that, where they had these big like retreat places. And I just didn't like the return on investment.
On your investment,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like, no, I'm not bringing all these people and having to spend this much money and I get this much. And so, and then also they wanted to control a lot of the itinerary too. And I was like, no, I know exactly what I
need to flow.
I needed to go. Yeah. And so that's the tricky part where it's like you get into this space where you have this vision, then also you're trying to go with the flow. But I was trying to make everybody go with the flow at the same time too. And so some stuff that was like, oh my God, I cannot believe this campground is so big. Like the first morning I was walking around there.
Can we tell them?
Oh my God, tell them.
Okay. So Jamel had this, I mean, it was a really great idea. So the idea was, okay, everyone is going to wake up at, 5 o'clock? We woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh, by the way, I went to the retreat. I don't know if you can tell. So we woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning and we were going to meditate. And so we're supposed to meditate until you came knocking or someone, like somebody, one of the other retreat leaders came knocking. And so we sitting there.
So the idea was we're going to do a silent walk. So you start a meditation. I knock on everybody's door and it turns into a silent walk until we get to our place where we do the yoga at. But go ahead.
But like he said, the campground was so big. I mean, I think it was probably like 2 hours and I started getting worried. I was like, I must have missed the knock. I must have been in such deep meditation. My ass missed the knock, you know? So mind you, one of the things that I absolutely loved is that we are supposed to be disconnected from external devices. So I didn't have my phone on me. Like I really was trying to be very mindful. I had told my family, like, I'm going off the grid this weekend. Don't look for me. You got my location. I think I even had like one of the retreat managers, whoever was like sending us like the messages and stuff like that, I had gave them their number. Like, look, if something happens and you need to contact me, contact him. Yeah. He'll figure out a way to, get a hold. But I had to pull my phone out at that moment and text Nicole. That's one of my homegirls who also was at the retreat and who also instructs at Trap Yoga. I had to text her like, did you hear a knock? Like, where are you at? Because I thought that maybe I had missed it. Yeah. But we didn't miss it. It was just that the campground was so big.
It was so big.
Ultimately, what you wanted to do, what you did it just took a little longer.
It took a little longer, yeah. And so it threw off a lot of timing for me. But as I was going through it, it was like, I had to keep reminding myself, just be present, be present, be present, be present, because you can start to like, you go back. So it's never like to say I live in flow is never like a fixated thing, because life will pull you out of that. Like, what the hell? I wanted it to be just like this. I knew exactly because you only get 48 hours.
Yeah.
And so it was like, whoa, this is timing is everything. Yeah, that was crazy.
The way that you were staying in flow in that space was just by trying to remain present.
Yeah, to remain present and to also realize that it'll be good regardless. Like, so if we get to yoga before the sun, after the sun rises, that's fine, because the idea was to do our sun salutations as the sun rose. I can't remember what else. It was something else that I was going to do with it during that silent walk, but and we were going to go through the entire like campgrounds with the silent walk, because it was supposed to be noble silence at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the biggest thing. It's just like let go. Really, my idea was to let go of what the original plan was, and just to kind of go with the flow.
And I'm so like, oh, can we just explore there? Because for me, like, and I don't know if anybody else can relate to this in terms of just being like getting fixated on a thing. And like you can get fixated on something and you just miss the entire moment.
Yep.
Like all the beauty of it. Like here it is, 6 years is finally happening. So many people, like, are a part of this retreat and they're coming here to experience this itinerary, everything that this retreat ultimately extended, because it was an amazing retreat. But it's like, if you got so fixated on what wasn't happening or what wasn't going right, you would have missed the entire beauty of what you created.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, because it was 33 people at that retreat, which is a lot for a retreat, especially a first one. And even just logistically, if it took 5 minutes per person, I should have known it would have took. Just now, as I say it, like 5 times 33.
But the idea was good,
Should have thought of that.
Sometimes you gotta flow and flush shit out. You know what I'm saying?
I should have said, y'all everybody meet us over there. But yeah, that was the beauty. And the other cool part is that in the midst of it, of me doing all the door knocking, I had such funny ass stories, like different people, like everybody is so different, so weird. It's so fucking funny. Like one guy was sitting on the on the top of the table, and another guy, I walked by, he's peeking his sides. I'm like, he heard a cougar while we was out there. Like, you did not hear a cougar out there, bro. It was just like all these different things, man. People opening the door, they wouldn't even meditate, and you could tell they got their hair thing on. Hey, what? Like, did you forget that I was coming? Because you like I'm disturbing you.
Like I'm bothering you.
Yeah. She's like, okay, I'll be there. Okay. It was just like really funny how different people are. And, yeah, just that was really cool, I think, to experience the different people. And so to just go back to what you were saying, like to not be fixated on a plan. So I wasn't disappointed. That's something that I could be proud of myself. I wasn't disappointed in the fact that, like, bro, this is taking so damn long. And I'm in a car. I wasn't walking these. I was driving, but it was so confusing. But so to be able to see the different things, and then when we finally all got together, it was just super cool. Like, damn, this is dope as hell.
Yeah.
It was just dope. Like the circle, the sun was shining right through in the center of all of us. Yeah, it was crazy. It was really crazy just to be a witness of. And so you'll miss the beauty by being fixated on the vision. And so that's why non-attachment is so important, because you miss so many things by being attached to what you think it should look like.
Yeah, that's so true. Man, that is so true. J. Crew, if you are enjoying this trip and you have not already, I would love for you to like and subscribe so that you never miss a trip and we can continue to grow our community. Now, back to this trip. There's been so many times when I've been such a benefactor of just like a divine delay. if I got so caught up on the fact that it didn't happen this way or in this timing, and I didn't embrace, ultimately what was happening and what was extended to me, like, because there is so much power. Like, I do believe, everything is working out ultimately for our greater good.
Yes.
So when something doesn't happen the way we originally had planned, it's like, okay, like, to your point, like, accept it and flow with it, because you have absolutely no idea what is to come. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I stepped on a sea, so I was out of the country for 6 months. 3 weeks into this, I stepped on a sea urchin. And I'm having to like get foot surgery in the middle of Thailand.
Whoa.
And I didn't know what was going to happen. Like, I didn't know if I was going to need to pack things up and just kill the trip. But I was like, nah, Kat, like, you came here for something and you haven't gotten it yet. Like, this is just the beginning. And fast forwarding to the last day when I was on my way back home, when I think about everything that transpired and the way that it all happened, like the people that I met, like, had we not been in that same space, like, had the sea urchin incident not happened, me and that person would have been in the same space at the same time, because I'm technically supposed to be, let's just say, in India. I was supposed to be in India like 2 weeks before, but I'm still in Thailand. Or I'm supposed to be in Ghana, but I'm still in India. But had I not been there on that day at that time, I would have never met those people. And those people would have never extended the things that were extended to me throughout that trip. So it's like, when you realize like how divine the delay could be, how divine the things that, didn't necessarily happen, but the things that did happen, because it was in those things that did happen at your retreat, those things extended so much to the people that were there. But if you're so focused on what didn't happen, it's like you could just miss so much that you really should be appreciating and valuing.
And that's essentially, so when we were starting the conversation, when we were talking about what's flow, that's flow. So you could have like dwelled on the fact that you hurt your foot and ruined the rest of your time there. I'm not leaving the room. I don't want to be around nobody. No, I'm good. But no, you're like, okay, everything happens for a reason. I'm good. I'm not dying right now. Seems like they got me. I'm under control. Everything is under control. That's going with the flow. That's a big deal. That's what I'm saying. It's levels to it.
Yeah.
It's levels to it. And certain circumstances bring on different levels of resistance, different vrittis is what they call it, these fluctuations of the mind. Sometimes physical, most times it's financial, and spiritual. It's just so many different levels to it. And so being able to recognize and to say, okay, I'm good. I'm not going anywhere. I'm standing 10 toes down. So.
Okay, so this is good because, like, so for a person who is controlling or has, who not controlling, but I think that I like to have certain control over things within my own life, in my own set.
Oh, yeah, we all do.
So it's not fixating, but flowing.
Yes.
Like, that's the benefit of not trying to control everything.
Yeah. And you're still going to control your narrative. So it's not that you're not like, you're just like, oh, whatever it is going to be. You're still going to control to a certain extent. Like, what's your comfort, what you like, your temperature, what you like to eat, the things that you enjoy, like where you hang out and stuff like that. If you like concerts, if you like fine dining, if you like, greasy food, whatever the hell you like, you know what you like. And so that is controlling a little bit. You controlling the narrative and saying, okay, somebody's going to meet me here where I'm at. Or it's just going to be me because I'm content with myself at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. But I love the idea, like, you're not fixating on something. No. You're not fixating, you're flowing.
Yep.
That trust me, that's gonna help me.
Oh,
like, don't
okay.
fixate.
Yeah.
Don't fixate. Just flow.
Just flow.
Just flow. Take the shot.
Yes.
And be the 70-year-old man to get the 70-year-old man to get your black belt.
Get your
it's
black
okay
belt.
with
Yep.
the 10-year-olds.
Yep.
It's okay.
Yep.
It's okay.
Yep.
That's
Look
what
at-
you want to
look at
do.
them. What's
Get
up?
that.
What's
Yeah,
up, little
get
fella?
that. Go after your dreams. How is flow helping us with our daily decisions?
I think flow helps us to live live out our heart's desires. I mean, because at the end of the day, you only got one life to live.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know when that last day is. So if you're living in a mindset of flow, opportunity presents itself, you go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Opposed from saying, "Yep, I'm not gonna do this because I don't want to look like, or I don't want to feel this again, or I don't want to lose whatever it is that you created for yourself." So I think going with the flow helps you to be the best version of yourself every day. Every day.
Okay, so we're on the waves.
Mm-hmm.
And we're flowing. We're doing such an amazing job. We killing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then out of nowhere, like, here comes this behemoth of a wave. And it doesn't even knock us down. It takes us completely under. How are we, number one, like, how are we just getting back to the surface when we experience something like that? And I think a lot of times, like, the behemoth of a wave can be these traumatic experiences, dealing with the loss of a loved one, the loss of a relationship, and it can put you underwater. Mm-hmm. So first, how are we just getting back to surface? And then how are we getting back on the board so that we can even trust flow and flow again?
Yeah, I got two things that come to my mind. One I wrote, which is run through the fire and tell your story about the burns. Don't run through the fire and die from the smoke of someone else to tell your story. Essentially, is what I'm saying is that being taken out, that's a new story, a new opportunity for you to share and to inspire other people. But then the other story that comes to my mind is that I've heard this in the yoga class a couple of times. When a storm is coming, you got your bulls and you got your cows, and they can both sense a storm coming. And so the cows, they start going away from the storm. So they start running away from the storm. Whereas the bulls, they start going towards the storm. Who do you think is wet longer? Can't outrun the storm, right?
Can't outrun the storm.
Yeah, the cows eventually go get caught, and they end up, by the time they get caught, they're tired. So they literally in the storm longer. Whereas that bull is going through it, going straight through it. Right on the other side, it's like, okay, I got wet, but not for that long. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna take on this these waves, these pitfalls, head on. I'm ready for it because I've already prepared myself mentally that it's a possibility. So I'm not living this mystical life where I'm thinking like, oh no, everything is just going to be good forever. We're all going to experience some type of heartache, some type of loss.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. So when is always the question, and there's no way to be prepared for it. It's just besides the mindset saying like, okay, I knew this was coming. Okay, damn, I didn't think it was going to hurt like this. Jesus. Right?
I didn't think it was going to feel this way, this bad.
God, yeah. But trusting that you always come back to the top. You always rise right back to the top. And so that's what I think is the biggest thing. So with tremendous faith, I think you keep showing up. And
you have the power to rise back up to the top. You know, like you don't have to be stuck down there. You don't have to be drowning as long as you may think you have to. Like, you have the power.
Yeah, you don't have to lay on your sorrows.
Yeah. How is flow showing up in our different relationships? Or how can we utilize flow to better our relationships?
Flowing is saying that I know that I always have a change in emotions and feelings and thought patterns. So understand that the other person will have the same fluctuations and feelings, thought patterns, and emotions as well. I think that's very important. So me having a bad day doesn't mean I'm mean or I don't like you anymore. It's just certain things, certain circumstances, I'm not feeling it right now.
Yeah.
And so being able to give people that grace and that space to say, you got a lot on your plate right now, probably, and letting them experience that. As long as they don't it doesn't impact you. Like, don't take it out on me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, just make sure that's a you thing right now. Okay, you got something going on. I'm here.
Yeah.
But if it starts to spill out, then of course that's a problem. But I just think that space and that grace, I think, is important. And then also not being fixated on these titles. So girlfriend, wife, husband. Oh, you supposed to do this as a man, or you supposed to do this as a woman. It's like, damn. Can't we both do something? Or like we do it, at least me. I feel like I don't think the strict titles and stuff like that is logical. Just off the fact that like every day, every person creates a different experience. So yeah, I don't know, man. I just think, shoot, me and my wife, we live that lifestyle that go with the flow. So she does it naturally herself too. I think that's why we vibed initially. Mm-hmm. Just the fact that she's like, you want to go here? I'm like, yeah, I ain't got no plans. So we can start here and then we go there and we go there. And it's just a lot of impulsive like things that we would do. And then we would look back and I'm like, that was a good ass time.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So it sounds like, flow, sounds like flow is grace. Flow is understanding, flow is empathy, and the way flow is also showing up in relationships is having a certain level of fluidity in those relationships.
Yep, fluidity. Yep, and that makes it light. Like you don't feel heavy. So
I know, because that is like the biggest. I think that's the thing that I am really, really, really trying to embrace in this season is like just not carrying so much weight. Mm-hmm. I remember when I was telling my therapist, she was like, okay, so if you're not being a prisoner of your personality, that means that you have to free yourself from certain things. So what is it that you have to free yourself from? And I do believe like flow allows for us to embrace so much freedom within our life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing because you no longer are attached to what was. It's like, oh, I get a new chance to see what is, and I think that's even cooler. What is this year? What can I make out of it this year? When you find someone who's able to, and when you go back to that relationship aspect, you find someone who's able to ride the waves of life with you. I think you figured it out. Yeah. Yeah, like we in this together.
Cheers to finding someone who can ride the waves with you. Shit, I know everybody's like, yes, that's what that's all I want. Just somebody who can ride the waves. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ooh, yeah, we can stay there. We can stay there for a while. That's the thing, and it's not even just in romantic relationships. It's in your platonic relationships too, right? Yes. It's in your business partnerships. Like who can ride these waves with you? Yeah. Who's gonna be the best person to be in your foxhole? Who's gonna be the person to ride with you? But then at the same time to tell you like, no, you want some straight bullshit.
Yeah. That's authentic. Who's gonna be that for you? That's an authentic person. That's the people that you want around. Not the person that's just there for the good time or the highs,
right?
Or even the lows, because some people feed off of your lows too, right?
People be loving some misery.
Yeah, like
people be like, damn, can we get out this season? Can we get in our Thrive season, please?
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
This is killing me right now.
Exactly.
So finding that person who's like, okay, we can do all this together.
Yeah, but I think to your point, the one that also, yes, but aren't always looking for all of the highs, because I think when it comes to romance, Disney done fucked us up a little bit.
Yep.
It's like, oh, everything is supposed to be such this fairy tale.
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to wake up and just feel like that. Like, no, like love is a verb. It's an action. It has to be activated.
Yep.
So you may not, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't put in the work, you may not be feeling the love.
Yeah.
And you can't fault nobody but yourself because you're not putting in the work. You got to put in the work.
Yep.
Sis, you got to put in the work, bro.
Yeah. You got to put in the work. And in my opinion, I think you got to put in the work for yourself. So you treat yourself the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
So that now I know how to treat you.
Yep.
Right. So I know what you enjoy because you do it for yourself, right? And some people, a lot of guys get turned off by that. Like, she do everything herself already, so I know. Like, no.
So how can I ride? How can I ride this with her?
Yeah. Nah. I'm like, no. I'll meet you there. So yeah. So you like this, don't you? Come on, let's go do that. And that's enjoyable. Okay, cool. Whereas you trying to like figure out what to buy and what to get. And you trying to outdo the prior person or what you assume could wow her, and it's just a short term boost. Anything that you buy, anything that you all these little things that gadgets in order to win people over, opposed from just simply like
showing up as your authentic self.
Showing up as your authentic self.
And that's what I was gonna say. Like, how much is flow about authenticity?
It's all about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about it. So I don't have to talk like anybody wants me to talk. I don't have to smile. I have to pretend like I'm like in a great mood all the time.
Yeah. You don't got to be somebody's yogi, whatever they think that's supposed to look like.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean when I spoke about the girl earlier saying that. I knew what she was getting at. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be that.
I don't want to be in that box.
Yeah. So
you're not gonna pigeonhole me into that.
So I played dumb. It's like, I mean, I teach yoga, but what do you mean I'm not a yogi? Whatever. Because then they start looking at everything other essence of it. Oh, you said you drink. Yogis didn't drink. You say you eat this? Yogis wouldn't eat this. It's like, wait a second now.
Who said this?
Who said this? Who created this? Who created this?
Bible?
Yeah, who created this Bible, right? Let me figure out a different word for this then, if that'll make you better.
Right.
Make you happy, I guess. But that's very important. I say is to know yourself and to be selfish with your things that you enjoy, things that benefit you, and to be authentic to yourself so that people are never caught like slipping like, wait, you were not this person 6 months ago.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I've been exactly how I am.
Yeah, please don't show up as your representative.
No.
Show up as your authentic self. Ride your wave.
Yes.
Because you cannot ride your own wave if you're not authentically being you. It goes back to the fact that you're riding somebody else's wave.
Mm-hmm. It's too much pressure. I gotta fucking figure out.
Yeah, it's too much pressure. It's too much pressure.
What do you think about this? Wait a second. Who was I last week when I said this? What book did I read so I can kind of repeat this? Like, no, I like to read books. I like experiences to like get a chance to hear other people's perspective, and then I reuse it myself. So if it resonates with me, it's like, oh, it's in there, and it come out in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another way. You ask the question of how do you live that flow state, and it's like going to different things, getting different experiences, traveling, of course. I love going to shows. And I look at shows from a whole different lens from like most people. Like singing, somebody that can sing. I can care less how good you sing. I love a good singer, but it's like more so like the way they move, the energy, the spirit.
The
all
spirit,
this kind of stuff. I'm watching all those little like little things. And it's like, wow, she's enjoying herself.
Like they don't even have to from a technical standpoint be the best at what they do. You know, it's just their spirit, their soul, that authenticity. Like that is what cuts through.
That's what cuts through. Yeah. And I see that, and it's like, wow, I want to show up for myself the same way she's showing up for herself. When I was in yoga teacher training, they had a our teacher, he would do something. He had this like, we would do like 3-hour yoga classes, like literally 3 hours straight, and it's just sweating like, bro, what time is it type of thing. And he had one part where he's like, we got one more portion of class, and everybody dying in sweat. Had us raise our arms up. He's saying, then close your eyes. And then after that, he turned on like Prince or some shit like that. And he's just saying, and just move your hips side to side. So everybody like in there dancing and stuff. And it was pretty funny. But at the end, one of the girls was like, she said, Johnny, you ain't got no rhythm. You can't dance. And he said, look, he looked at her and he said, everybody can dance. I thought about that shit the rest of the week, bro. Yeah. Everybody can dance.
Everybody can dance, yeah.
What do you mean? Who created, like, who says, who created this barometer to say who can and who can't dance? Who can and who can't sing? Who figured this part out? Now, some things that's like evidence. So you playing basketball, who can get the ball in the hole? Okay, got you. But when you're talking about something subjective like dancing, singing, it's all an art form. So it's like,
man, and so at our retreat, we had homework. See, we had prior to homework before we got to the retreat that we received. And one of the homework assignments was to read Brene Brown's book.
Perfect. Imperfect.
Gifts of Imperfection.
Yep.
And she talks about just the importance of being able to tap into that art form of singing and dancing. But the fact that dancing is probably one of the most vulnerable things that we can give ourselves and that we can do in front of other people. Mm-hmm. So in that moment when, he told y'all like to dance and somebody's recognized like, oh, like this person is off beat. And then they said, This is me dancing.
Everybody can
dance. Yeah. And this is what it looks like for me.
Yeah.
So
can you imagine how joyful a child, so when a 1 or 2 year old hears music, they do all type of,
right.
Can you imagine someone laughing and saying, stop him, he can't dance.
Right.
You don't do that.
You don't do that.
Because he's just a kid. You enjoy it, right? It's cute, right? You skip, let's skip.
Who created this? Like, who created all this shit?
Yeah. So you skip ages 10. So let's say about 6, maybe 10. Let's just say 10. 10 years old to 80. They judge you. All of a sudden now you 80, 85 years old, and they go back to doing that same dance. It's cute again. Mm-hmm. But that middle gap, you ain't got no rhythm.
Yeah.
Look how you moving. You must not hear the music. It's like, why it ain't cute? Why it's not joyful? Yeah. Why is it not? Okay, when I'm first born and when I'm about to die, that's the only time it's enjoyable. But all this middle gap area, we're judged.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
And if you accept that shit, like,
you go sit on the wall.
You have a whole life where you could have just been living out, dancing, like dancing the night away. And you didn't let somebody else tell you, and they don't look right.
And it's really it's really because they fear being judged. And so they're putting that on you because it makes them feel a little better. Mm-hmm. So they can dance, but they can't do something else.
Yeah.
So they're going to laugh at you about that. Like, you got something that you're afraid of showing too.
Right.
This makes you feel good right now. So I'm going to let you laugh, but I'm going to keep dancing. And that's the beauty behind it. Because that person sees it and they're like, this motherfucker, the audacity of this motherfucker here.
Yep.
Dancing and ain't got no rhythm. Laughing and singing and stuff, it can't sing. What's wrong with him? What's wrong with you? That's the question.
What's wrong with you? Yeah. Yep. And when you don't accept that, like when you push past like somebody else, oh man, like when you just talk about like the freedom of that shit, like just not subscribing to like other people's stigmas and judgment and perception, and just be like, fuck it, like that's flow.
That's free stuff. That's flow. And those are the people who want to gravitate towards you. They're like, oh man, you got such good energy. Yeah, you got some good energy. Yeah, and you're like, don't come over here with that heaviness though. If that's what you got, but they want some of that. And I love it. I think that's what the coolest energy that we bring at the yoga studio, any type of events that we do. It's more of a free-spirited energy Whereas people are like, okay, I'm okay to show up. I'm okay to fall a little bit in the yoga class. A lot of people, they be like, saying, like, I'm not flexible. I can't do yoga. That's the reason you come to a yoga class, right? To get flexible mentally and physically, right? And so you start getting into this space where you're showing up for yourself and you figure it out. A baby don't come out the womb just walking, talking. That would be some scary shit. Like, wait a second, what's up with this baby? Never seen one come out like that.
Yeah.
You give them the glory of falling, crawling, stumbling, bumping their head until they figure it out. They words, they mumble, they slob, they goo goo gaga, dot, 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 until they figure those words out. So what makes you think that everything that you show up in, you just go figure it out just like that? Just be a natural.
What's the best thing that's happened to you because you embrace flow?
The best thing that happened to me. The best thing that happened to me since I embraced flow is that I do everything my heart desires. I really do. Like every single thing that I want to do, I do it.
Such as?
Shoot, if I done written a book, the retreat, opened up the yoga studio downtown here.
The event you just put on at the Willis?
Me, myself, and Rory. Yep, me, myself, and Rory.
Which is super dope.
So storytelling event, yep, I just did that. That was really cool because it was a vision that I had a little bit over a year ago. I wrote my book in 2022, and I wanted to write the book in a way where it informs and entertains at the same time because I don't want to ever be boxed in, clearly, right?
Yeah.
And so when I say boxed in, I don't want it to just be like a Eckhart Tolle type of book where it's just like just yoga, philosophy, and non-attachment, all this kind of stuff. I like the idea of bringing a modern approach to it all. And so the storytelling aspect of it, I was like, man, this can be a play. This could be a show. This can be a...
you let your mind just...
go.
Just flow, yeah.
And it's so fucking fun. It's so fun. And so
like, what's next?
What's next? Right?
Yeah.
So it's exactly, if you remember being a kid, like the way you just sound just now, that's how I imagine it. It's like when you were a kid, it's like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that.
But I'm gonna tell you, so I'm listening to, we're at the storytelling event and you're queuing it up. And the one thing that you said, I wrote this down because I really was inspired by it. You had sent in your information for TEDx and you had got denied. And you did it, like 3 times and got denied. And it was like, okay, TEDx don't want me. I know my story. You know what I'm saying? It's worth hearing. It's me worth continuously telling people and inspiring people. So fuck it. I'm going to do it my own damn self. I'm going to do it my own damn self. And what you were able to create is something that I don't even know if TEDx would have let you do that. Like, do they let you do sound effects? I don't know. I've never seen.
I would have had to like fit it into a box.
Yeah, I never seen nobody with no sound effects and no music and verse. You know, like all these. Like I never seen nobody with no shit like that at TEDx.
Yeah,
you were denied, and you still felt compelled, you know, to follow your heart's desire. You still believed in yourself, and it was just like. This amazing event came from it. And it would have been so different if you would have even allowed for, or if you would have got the TEDx opportunity, it wouldn't even have been as good.
No, it wouldn't have been as good. And that's part of like trusting. Like you can have your mind fixated on saying like, I apply for the TEDx. I'm like, oh, I want to do this. I can do this. And after so many times, it's like, well, what do I need them for? A stage? I can get a stage. So you get a stage and your audience, I didn't care if it was one person or 22 people that showed up. It was like, I'm showing up for myself. Again, a selfish approach. I mean, I'm going to get something out of this.
Oh, it's so good to be selfish.
Yeah, it's good to be selfish. And so in the midst of you being selfish, you inspire other people. So I'm speaking my story. I'm speaking my truth from my gut, from my heart, but going back to something that I desired initially. And when somebody that says, no, it's like, Okay, yes. You want to know what really one of my biggest inspirations was a couple years ago. They had on BET, they had the No Limit story, and so they were showing Master P, and Master P inspired the hell out of me.
Really?
Oh my gosh, his story really, like, if you really look at that story, I think everybody should watch it. Just off the fact that he
No Limit.
yes, he wasn't no great rapper like that. Like, he wasn't hitting no bars like Andre 3000, but he figured it out, and he got told no. He went to California. He sold out his trunk, and he kept on going to he took basically a stance to make his own label, and it was like not necessarily me wanting to be a rapper. It was just hearing his like, okay,
yeah,
I'm gonna figure this out.
Exactly.
And he went to business school, like, so it's not, oh, I'm just gonna wing it. It's like, okay, I'm gonna be intentional with my steps too. So he took a course in college on business. I think it was like business management or something like that, and learned how to run his own label off of that. Like, so
he said it's no limit.
Ain't
Clearly.
no limit.
Ain't no limit. Ain't no limit. Yeah, I love that. As you were talking about your story, and just like the power of your own flow, like in all these different areas, what always shows up is your authenticity. Like trap yoga, that's you showing up as your authentic self. If you were to have created a yoga studio, like everybody else, that wouldn't have been authentic to you.
Yeah, but that part, the funny thing, that was forced. It wasn't forced on me, but it was pushed on me.
What part?
The need. I felt like I didn't see it the way you just said it initially. It was more so like I took a yoga teacher training 3 times, and so the second time I went to really learn how to teach. And all the trainings I took, it was mostly white. Like literally, like the first one was like one other black person, black girl, and then the other one was like 2 other black guys, and one black guy and a black girl. And so, but this particular one, we were putting together our because they had music in the classes. It was always just like pop music, R&B music. Well, not even R&B, pop music, literally. And I was out there in Birmingham. And one of the guys looked at me, and as we was putting our final flow together as a group, it was like a group project, everybody had a section. He said, "No rap music, Jamel." And I was like, what made you say, what made you say no rap? I wasn't even thinking about rap music. And it caught me off guard because they were laughing, and I'm thinking like, what? I wouldn't even think about rap music. We didn't have rap music one time in the class, so I didn't think about it. And it caught me off guard. I didn't even know how to respond at the time. I was just like, whatever. And then I thought about it as I was driving. I was like, why not rap music though?
I love that.
Right?
Jeez.
And it's like, why not?
That's powerful.
Right. And so when you start going into the why not, it's like, what do we have to call our own? Right?
Yeah.
So they like you going
somebody's dumbass stereotype.
You get what I'm saying?
Turned into something. You turned it into something that is such this powerful, just different experience.
Yeah, we've always, all my friends, we always have fun around trap music, rap music. We turn up hard in a motherfucker. Right now, I shoot a nigga dead in this. You hear the words. You
exactly.
Be like, yeah.
It is so like to be able to do Sunday, to geek up and some, oh man.
Yeah, like we get turned up to it.
Yeah.
What about the lyrics? You don't like going, I've never looked at it like that.
Yeah.
It's always turned us up. I don't know. And so I saw the importance. Like they would have these songs, Sweet Caroline. And I'm in class like, it was not true to me. I was like, okay, this is killing me. We opened our first class at when we moved downtown, and I had Meek Mill playing that. It's to run like this, to run like that.
Dreams and nightmares.
Yeah, and man, that shit just felt so damn good. 'Cause it was just so motherfucking black. It was like, bam. I ain't got to say I'm a black business. I ain't got to say that. It's like you gonna feel it.
You gonna
even your nights.
Yeah.
You show up to your nights. You know that's a motherfucking. You know that's one of our motherfucking events, right? So it's like it's just one of those things that just like you don't gotta like. I ain't gotta walk around with this like black business owner on my back. I ain't gotta walk
This
around with no
title.
flag, no
Yeah.
titles. I live it, so I don't have
Yes.
to like run around here pretending or anything like that. So you come out and guess what happens? Black people show up, white people show up, Asian people, all different
all kinds of people.
all type of flavors.
To experience your authenticity, to experience your flow.
Yeah, because they enjoy authenticity, but also they enjoy different flavors of people.
Yeah.
Can you imagine going to Jamaica and they give you a hamburger and fries?
Exactly.
Like, yeah, could eat this shit at
or
home.
just eating one type of cuisine. Like, how fucking boring
Yeah,
is that? Like,
I didn't come here for that. Yeah. So that's why it's so important to show up as you, because you never know what who needs that little bit of you, who's waiting on that. It's so many different people, man. So many different people. So many successful people that are carrying the weight of responsibility on their shoulders, and they want to let that shit go.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say like I got the glory of not having my parents, I don't have that. Like if ever I want to say I'm not doing none of this shit again, I ain't got nobody who gonna be like, Jamel, what are you doing? Who gonna check me? Who gonna check me? You can't check me. You ain't my mama.
Who gonna check me,
you ain't my mama. So it's a weight, but I know everybody else doesn't have that luxury. Where their parents would be like, you worked this hard for this. You're not letting that law degree go to waste.
Yeah.
I put you to school.
Man, when you even hear like the stories of like people finally being able to live when their parents left this earth because they finally felt like they could do so without the disappointment of what would come if they didn't fit in this particular box, per their parents. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. That's heavy.
That's a heavy weight.
It is.
And it's like, hopefully you've been, if you live, I feel like if you live authentically the entire way, it's not that heavy.
It's not that heavy. There's fun and flow, right? And so like what you said, I'm not boxing myself in, and I'm always looking for, okay, so great. Like, what's next? Like you said, I wrote a book and now I can turn it into a play. I can turn it into a movie. I can turn it into an event. I can turn it into, like, what's next? And I think that's the beauty, like, to your point about just being able to live in your authenticity. Because you just want to see that, I think we talked about, like, you saw what you can create. So it's like, damn, I did this. Okay, so what's next? Like, what can I create next? It's that power. And you just wanting to experience that.
Now that's the part that makes me excited. And I think that's what keeps us young and alive. It's like saying, I'm never done. I'll never be done. I'm going to tell you that now. I'll never be done. It's going to always be something that I want to do, something that I want to become. And I think that's the beauty behind it. I would say if I can look at the best, the right now, what I would want to do is I would want to write. That would be the greatest thing. But I know once I get to that point, I'm going to want something different. That's just how I am.
So how you flowing in that space? You embrace flow. So how does that show up in Jamel's world right now?
I write. So I write when I can. So I get up for meditation. And typically in the middle of my meditation, I have all these thoughts that come up. I'm like, ooh, this will be good. I don't know where it's going to be good for, but I write it. And so after I get done with the yoga, so I typically do the meditation and then the yoga immediately afterwards. And then at about 7:00, I'm done. And so I got the rest of the morning to kind of, do what I want to do. And so I'll get on the computer and just start writing everything that came up to me. And then I figure at some point I'll need that and then I'll elaborate on it. But I just write everything that was in me. And so it satisfies me then.
I love that. What came to me is like, as fluid as flow is, like flow is still structure. Like you said, I get up at 5:30 and then I go into meditation and then I go into writing. There's still a cadence to your day. It's not just free flowing in a sense where there's no structure.
No. Oh, no. It's just beautiful to know where you're going every day because it gives you a reason to get up.
Yeah.
I did go a year last year. I went where I wasn't doing the morning classes anymore. And I would wake up and it felt good to sleep in. I was staying up watching basketball, really. That's all. That was literally the only reason I stopped the morning classes. It was like, man, I'm missing all the Lakers games. They start at 10 o'clock. That means they done at 1:30 in the morning. I got to be up at 4. No. And so I started, staying up and watching the games and stuff like that. But I started noticing that I wasn't satisfying another one of my desires. So it was like, what do I need to do to make sure that I'm getting both ends of the stick? And so got the league pass and I just record the games. And so instead of watching the games at 10 o'clock on Monday, like the game came on last night, I watched it this morning at 10 o'clock. And so that did two things for me. I'm able to do my meditation and my yoga still, and then also get my flow going because I notice I write better early in the morning than when the world takes over. But then also, it keeps me off of social media because if I get on social media, I'm going to see who won the game. so I'm off of social media until after I get done with everything, which is really cool. It's really satisfying. I mean, I could show you my computer. I got like 2,500 like entries where I just be writing. And then I put it together. And it'd be a book. Like I got 3 books written already, not like perfect though. Just written. And like I'm just wait till I get more stuff added. And then once it makes sense, I tie it in a bow and now we can deliver it to the world.
Yeah, I love that. And what I also love that you brought up in terms of like kind of sharing your cadence with us is flow is all like you recognizing what it is that you need. Like you said, I write better in the morning.
Yep.
So like flow is also identifying here's the best times for me to do this. Mm-hmm. And we recently went to the dojo of discipline. We took a trip there. Mm-hmm. And discipline is very, very much so about figuring out ultimately like what is the structure that I need in order to be able to maintain that discipline. And when I think about somebody surfing their waves of flow, like, yes, like there has to be a certain level of discipline in order for you to even get fucking good at flow, to be able to get good at surfing. Mm-hmm,
mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Discipline is at the root of a lot of things though. Mm-hmm. Discipline is stick to the course. Showing up for yourself every day so that you can actually see instead of just going through the motions.
Yeah.
Because you'll miss some things. So you want to come back to it, come right back to it, come back to it. So I would say I'm a habitual creature until I create a new habit. Mm-hmm. Then I create a new habit, and I just kind of keep on going with it. But I don't like stress if something throws off my day. Like I was sharing earlier, I didn't get up for my early morning practice today, and it was because last night I felt like I may be coming down with something. So it's like, what I'm gonna do is like, nope, the world waiting on me to be up there at 5:30 in the morning, do my meditation, do my yoga. I got to do it. I said I'm gonna do it every day. I was like, no, I'm gonna sleep in.
Yeah.
And I got up and I felt really damn good. It's like, see, you needed the rest.
You needed that. Yep. You needed that.
So yeah, that's part of it. It's like
accepting where you're at. And and giving yourself what you need. And that's all about flow. Like
it's all about flow.
This is what I need. I need to wake up late today.
Yeah, I need to wake up late.
I can't do this on today.
Yeah, and I'm not stressing, saying, "Oh man, what if everybody they were depending on me to be there early?"
Niggas they got a day off today.
They got a day off. You better do it in your house. So that's like the freeing thing. It's like they gonna be there.
Yeah,
they gonna be there.
They gonna be there. Yeah, they gonna be there, and they probably gonna be like, you know what? I'm so glad you gave us a day off because I really did need that.
I needed a break too.
Yeah, I needed a break too. Yeah, exactly. So on a lighter note, I want to play a little game really quickly. Mm-hmm. Even though we talked about how boring life is if you only have one of some, like just focusing on one. But that is the name of this game. It's called Only One. Mm-hmm. So if you had to choose only one song that you can play in the rest of your classes that you could vibe out to for the rest of your own personal yoga sessions, what's that one song gonna be?
That's a good one. The first one that comes to my mind.
Yeah, because you only get one.
Oh, damn. Kanye West. He got a song. I don't know. It's on the Life of Pablo album. I just want to be liberated. Yeah. I can't think of the name of the song. I'm sorry. I just love the word. If I fuck this bottle. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I just want to be liberated.
So why that song?
Because exactly what he's saying. I just want to be liberated. That song, that album, you can tell he was in a place in his life where he was trying to figure this shit out, and everybody was calling him crazy and stuff like that. But really, he's trying to figure it out. And he's telling you that's why he has such a crazy following that won't cut him off. As much as they want to cancel, you can't cancel Kanye.
Yeah,
you can't cancel Kanye because
he been authentically him.
He's authentically him to the
crazy and all
that, right? And he'll tell you all that stuff too. Whereas you damn, I go through a lot of that too.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And I just want to be liberated too, Kanye.
I just want to be liberated.
Yeah.
And so, so all the nights what is that? All the nights I instigated, I'm sorry. All the nights I never lived right, I'm sorry. He said all this stuff in the song.
That's his truth.
But most of us would never do that.
Yeah.
Father stretch my hand. Yes.
You want to play a piece for us real quick, Rock?
Come on now, that's my shit.
You can't tell us a song. Yeah. Get them geek like that and not play a little piece.
Play a little piece.
Play a little sample.
Yeah.
How many times have you done yoga to this?
Oh. It was 2 years straight where we would only listen to this album. Literally, no kidding. Literally
y'all
2 years straight.
Just Kanye, y'all.
Yeah. To the point.
It's a theme yoga class every day.
Yeah. They knew when it was my time to practice, this is what you was getting.
This is what y'all got to get.
This is it.
How much shoes?
This the part right here. All they got to say is. Yes, all I wanted to.
I just want to be liberated.
I just want to see liberated. That's it right there.
Yep, I love that.
That's all we all want.
That's all we all want. The freedom of being liberated. Yeah. Yes. If you could only do one yoga pose for the rest of your life. One.
I would say recline butterfly.
Okay. Why recline butterfly?
It's a hip opener. I feel like we hold so much in our hips and our pelvis. So when you lying flat on your back, it's like a surrendering that we do. Where you're saying, I got my legs open, my heart open, my mind open. Everything is just open at this point. So this is essentially like laying in a pool of water and just floating. There's so much freedom in that pose. So recline butterfly would be the one.
If you can only read one book.
The Power of Now.
Why?
That presence. You can read. I can reread that book 1 billion times and look at the things that he's talking about from a different perspective every time. There's nothing more true than you. And so being able to reword the way you look at you, I think that's the coolest thing. That book hits so many different layers. That's like the book.
Okay, I am going to pause this game for a second because I have questions about being present. So I'm gonna tell you my little personal beef at the moment. So in this decision of not being a prisoner of my own personality, I decided, okay, Kat, you got the podcast going, and you probably need to create your own personal social media page. Now, I had a Facebook page in college, then I deactivated it and have been deactivated for years, and I never had an Instagram page. So in this effort to, just want to make the greatest impact, I ended up reactivating the Facebook. Well, actually, the Facebook page was reactivated accidentally, but that's a whole nother story. But then I ended up doing an Instagram, my own personal Instagram page. And this is like very new for me. And the reason why I didn't, there's a myriad of reasons why I didn't want to do it. But one of the reasons why is because I just enjoy being present, or I try to be as present as possible. Mm-hmm. So for somebody who I'm sure is really great at being present, and you have a great presence on social media, how do you balance that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I can be present and have my phone up. Is the way I looked at it. It's like I don't miss the now while being on social media, because I do also feel like it's of importance for me to share what I'm doing on social media, because it can inspire someone to do the same. There's so many other things that people see.
Yeah.
So like to see a different lens of a man, of a person, of me. I don't connect to my family like I probably should. So that's the way they see me. That's another way. Like I'm not going to Thanksgiving dinners and all that kind of stuff. I just don't. I'd rather sit at home and watch the game. And so that's another extended way that they could see me. And then I know the power of pictures. I don't have any of my parents and stuff like that. So like to be able to say, so my daughter, she'll be able to look at my social media and be like, damn, my daddy was this and he was doing this and he was doing this. Or her kids will be able to look back and be like, damn, that was it. And so I think that would be pretty cool. Then also the words and what I was thinking in that time frame and stuff like that. Just everything. I just think it's super cool to be present and then share what you feel.
Be able to capture your present and share that with other people. Yeah, it's your freaking perspective.
It's the perspective, yeah, because you're good at
that shit. So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just fucking a chore.
Yeah. It's easy to become a victim of it though too, and so that's the thing. And so because after you start, because you can start chasing for likes, and so you got to keep in mind, what are you posting for? Are you posting for yourself?
The external validation. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this is not what I'm here for.
Right.
That's when it started feeling like work. I do one take. I don't do nothing else extra. So I'm not doing this shit over again.
This is the beauty of being a man.
Yeah. But if you think about it, though,
let's toast to being a man in my next lifetime. Thank you.
You get so much. If you start looking at some of the women like that live authentically, granted, we don't know how many times they like do a second take.
Yeah, exactly. That part.
But it seems like they they just like one taking it. Like,
like, oh, thank you.
Khalees is good. Khalees does a good job. I'll be on her Instagram sometimes and she be like, just like show up as herself and people just bubble over it.
It's a skill even to be authentically you. You know, to learn like, no, like this is what works, being me. But I think a lot of times, sometimes you gotta even recognize that, right? Like that it's best to show up, it's best to show up. Like that first, you go back and you're like, damn, that first take was actually really pretty good.
It was good.
It was actually my best one.
Yep. Because now you become a victim of the moment. And you're never going to get that perfect shot, that perfect angle, that perfect way of saying it. So it's just like, nope, I'm putting it out here. This is it. And I'm not even going to look at it after it.
Speaking of present, you said you are good at being present. Mm-hmm. How can we learn to be better at being present? Like what's the key?
Yeah,
what's the key?
Tell
me.
That's the best, easiest thing is to like getting to this point where you start observing everything in the moment. So mindfulness essentially is accepting everything. So if you remember like being a kid, you can hear birds chirping, you hear the leaves, you can see an ant, they catch everything. A kid catch everything. Like how did you see that ant? Mm-hmm. Why you got a worm? Like this type of stuff. Being able to see all these different things, these different elements, That's part of being present. Just being in the moment. I think that's the key. Is just being a witness of life. That's the number one way. Then I will always go back to meditation. Meditation sets the tone for that.
Yeah.
So you learn to sit with yourself so that you're able to sit with the world the same way.
Yeah. Okay, back to the game. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
yep.
Yeah, thank you. That was definitely a lot of takeaways there for me. One daily ritual, and I know we can kind of
You
guess,
already know what it
guys.
is.
We can kind of guess, but we're gonna still ask it. One daily ritual that you would never skip.
Oh
Shoot.
I mean, you got to think between prayer and meditation. I guess they kind of fall together.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah, they fall together. So,
Premeditation.
Yeah, right. Prayer meditation.
Prayer meditation.
Yeah, that's a good ritual. I don't want to skip.
Yeah, I love that. And why?
Because it sets a tone. It's a sign of me putting me first every day. Then also it gives me a chance to see all the things that come up, and then also to be grateful for it, because you don't get a chance. People don't get a chance for that. Last night when I got into bed, I told you I wasn't feeling all that. I was like, and I said, "Thank you, God, for giving me somewhere to lay my head." Because could you imagine? I literally said this. Could you imagine feeling under the weather and having to figure out where you go sleep?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I like literally got under the blankets and had the game on. I fell asleep literally like 5 minutes into the game, but it was just like one of those grateful moments where, you can dwell on one thing, but then you can be appreciative of another. And so my prayer and my gratefulness is like throughout the day. So I think that would be also that would be the main thing is the gratitude, daily gratitude.
Daily gratitude. I love that. One piece of advice that you live by.
One piece of advice that I live by. I got two main ones.
All right, fine.
Okay. So look,
we'll give them this one because we do want to hear the two.
Yeah, look sharp, play sharp. My coach used to say.
Okay.
And then the other one was, if it work, do it again. Then do it again. Then do it again. So that was those are two from my little league coaches and they told me this. They told me this when I started coaching with them. Look sharp, play sharp, meaning like you not necessarily. Well, he was talking about our clothes. I took it, from a different level. It's like you showing up to whatever you are pursuing, like you want to be there.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, you're giving your all to it, essentially. Like look like you coming to do a job. So nothing. You never like I say we're going with the flow. So I'm never just showing up to something like, all right, it is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's like no, I'm showing up to put on and I'm gonna go with the flow as it starts to present itself. But I'm coming here to do my best, to give my all. And that if it works, do it again. He was talking about a football play, but I took it on an overall standpoint. Like, man, if that worked, run that same play again.
Yeah.
You ain't got to keep figuring out, reinventing the wheel.
Exactly.
Run it back.
Yeah.
So
It's keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I love that. So what would Jamel's life be like if you didn't have flow?
Now that's a scary thing right there. I would probably be with somebody that I wasn't happy to be with. I would probably still be I would still be working my job that I had before. I would probably be stressed.
Riding somebody else's way.
Not
in your own flow.
Trying to make sense of life when life makes sense all by itself.
Yeah. For the crew members who maybe they got some control issues. Maybe they are afraid of the unknown. how are we ultimately encouraging them to flow?
Well, we encourage them to flow. We encourage them to flow by flowing ourselves. So we inspire by being ourselves. And so they see it. We don't know when they're going to actually take that leap, but we lead them to the water, right? You lead them to the water and make them drink. Well, you can't make them drink. Eventually, they're going to say, let me try this out.
Yeah.
And so then when you start seeing them do it, it's like, hell yeah. And then it feeds another person and another person. And now we create this whole generation of people living a life of flow.
I love that. I love that. So why is Jamel's journey worth traveling?
My journey is worth traveling because my journey mimics so many other people's journey, meaning loved and lost and loved again. I think that can define so many people. You found love. I found love, of course, with my parents. And then I found lost, and then I found love again by finding myself. And so being able to accept all those things, I think that's why it's a journey worth traveling.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, okay. Well, we didn't found a lot. We didn't surf the waves of flow. We didn't over here. We didn't woo-side. We didn't whack. We didn't whack weeds. All kinds of shit. This was great. Jamel, thank you so much for surfing or teaching us how to surf the waves of flow. This was such a great conversation.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Such a great trip.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.